Hello, dear participants. Hello, how are you today? Are you ready for your exams? Okay, I see that you're still joining, so let's start and maybe wait 1 minute more for others to join. Okay, so before we start, let me remind you some little rules as usual. Yes, we will do this webinar as usual. I will be speaking. You can communicate with me like through the chat, so feel free to use it, put your questions, put your answers there. If for any reasons I disappear from the meeting, please don't leave the meeting. I'll be back. And the same for you. If you have any issues with your connection or with your Zoom application, come back as soon as possible, rejoin the meeting. We will be here, we will be working. Okay, so how are you today? Are you ready for your exams? Are you ready for your English exam? Oh, you can give me any reactions to the chat. How do you feel about your exams? Ready or not? Still learning. I see. Okay, somebody is ready. Great. Okay, actually, we don't have so much time, yes, before the exam, but nevertheless, we still have some time to discuss some important, I would say, crucial grammar, yes, and revise some vocabulary. So we will do some grammar revision today. We will revise with you the passive voice in English, and we will also look at some I see, great. And we will also revise with you some common adverbs. And I will actually show you some tricky ones, yes, that you might need for your use of English part. And we will look with you at the writing part today, at the writing section of your exam, and we will try to find the difference between a semi-formal and a formal letter. And also we will, of course, look at some informal letters, yes? Some examples of informal letters. So let's start, and let's start as usual with grammar. And let's see how well you remember the passive voice. So actually what I wanted to tell you about the passive is that native speakers often use the passive voice. That is true. And in other words, the passive voice is often used by native speakers. So, and that is also true. So that is the same sentence, but anyway, let's look at these two sentences and let's try to think about them. So let's look at sentence number 1. It has the subject, who is the doer of some action, that is the verb to use, and we also have some object, the passive voice. So, and we can say that this sentence is in an active voice, yes? Because we have the subject that does some action. So the subject is active in this example. That's why we call it active voice. And let's look at the next sentence, yes? That is, the passive voice is often used by native speakers. We also have the subject here, but the subject is the receiver of the action. It does not do any action, it just receives, yes? Receives some action done by the agent. But we also have the verb that is used, and we have the agent, native speakers. So, and since the subject in the sentence is passive, we call it passive voice. I hope you know it, I hope you remember that. And to be honest, the meaning of these two sentences is completely the same. The meaning is that native speakers use passive voice and passive voice is used by native speakers. But I have a question. So if we have the same meaning in these two sentences, why do we need this passive voice? What do you think? Why do we need it? The meaning is completely the same. You can use a simple structure, a simple sentence in active voice. Okay, give me your guesses to the chat. Then why do we need this passive voice? Why is it so important? Okay, I see the correct answer, by the way, in the chat. It is more formal. I agree, yes, and we usually use passive voice in formal letters. To be honest, you actually can see the passive voice in newspapers, maybe in magazines, in some titles, headlines, yes, because they usually use it, and it's more like formal, because it's also used in like legal reports, scientific reports, and it's also used in formal letters. I agree, that is formal. Why else? Any other reasons why do we need it? Let me check it. That's right. Yes, to make our language like more beautiful. Let me say it in another word so all understand. So yes, to vary, yes, like to use various structures, yes, not to use only simple structures, of course. That shows the level of your English. I agree. Okay. That's right. Sometimes it's not important who is the doer of the action. I agree. Okay, I see that you know. In these two examples that I showed you, native speakers often use the passive voice and the passive voice is often used by native speakers. My aim was to change the focus of the sentence. Actually, today I'm not going to talk about any native speakers. I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in telling you about any native speakers. My focus today is to show you, to talk with you about the passive voice. That's why to change the focus, I put the passive voice at the first place in the sentence, like to make it emphasized, yes, to emphasize the passive voice. So we use the passive voice actually, first of all, to change the focus of the sentence, yes? In other words, we use it to emphasize the action and not the person or the thing that performs the action. For example, the film was completed in record time, yes? There are two other cases when we need passive voice, and these are when the agent is unknown. So we don't know who does or what does this action. Actually, I see this answer in the chat. So when we don't know who does the action or what does the action. Okay, let me scroll. Oh no. For example, my bag has been stolen. I don't know who exactly did that. Yes, I don't know, but my bag has been stolen. Somebody must have taken it when I wasn't looking. Yeah, so I don't know who was that, but like I need to say that fact. That's why we use passive voice. And the last, of course, usage, that's when it's not necessary who or what does the action. So we're not interested in that. Like maybe sometimes it's too obvious who does it. For example, lots of films are made in India. So it's clear that some producers, directors make films. Yes, we need to talk about films. It's too obvious that some professionals, yes, did that. So these are three cases when we actually need passive voice. For you guys, you need it actually for your formal letter. Yes, if you have this formal writing in your exam, so passive voice is a big advantage. Yes, it's a huge advantage for you for formal and semi-formal letters. We will see this requirement today, but anyway, if you use it, it's just a plus. It's just a big plus to your mark for your writing, for your formal or semi-formal letter. Okay, so what's also might be important for you, yes, it's affirmation, because for your use of English part, you also need to know the structure of passive voice, yes? So let's revise it. So I hope you remember that we form the passive voice with the verb to be plus past participle, yes? So who can remind me what a past participle is? Who can remind me, maybe give any examples? Just remind me what past participle is. What is that? Done, that's right. Done is past participle of the verb to do. Any other examples? Been, that's right. More examples. What is a past participle? Stolen, gone, great, great, great. Okay, put me the most difficult example as for you. Like the word that is really difficult for you. Because used, gone, they are simple, taken. cut. Okay, yes. Known. The most difficult example of past participle of any verb. That is, it's the most difficult for you. Worn, to wear. Worn, bring, brought. Third form of the verb. So I say that you know that past participle, in other words, that is the third form of the verb. If we talk about regular verbs, it's just the verb with the ending ed. If we talk about irregular verbs, it's just the third column in that well-known column, yes, that you need to learn by heart. And they say that we start the sentence with the object, not with the doer of the action, but with the receiver of the action. So let's look at this sentence. Thousands of students take English exam every year. So this sentence is active because we have the subject, that is thousands of students who, like these students, who do some action, who take, yes, the verb, and what? English exam. And we have the object, English exam. So we see that it is a simple present simple sentence, yes, and it is active. So let's try to reformulate the sentence to change the focus, yes, and to make this sentence passive. Let's do it together. So let's put the same sentence into present simple. So remember that in order to make it passive, we just need to add the verb to be, to put it in this tense, that is present simple, and add past participle of the main verb, which is take, yes? So first we need to put the object, that is English exam. Then we need to put the verb to be into present simple. What is present simple of the verb to be? It's very simple. That is, yes. We have English exam, that is singular, is. And then we need to add past participle of the main verb, which is take. So the past participle of the verb to take is taken. So we do it this way. English exam is taken by thousands of students every year. The same sentence in passive. Yes, we just change the focus. Yeah, we don't want to focus on students. We just want to focus on the exam. Great. So let's go on. Let's try to put this sentence into past simple. So how do we need to do it? We need just to put the verb to be into the past simple and add the past participle of the verb to take. So give me just the structure. So English exam. That's very easy, just for revision. Okay, more answers. Was taken, that's right, was taken by thousands of students last year. Yes, because that is past. Great. So we see that we change only the verb to be. We just put it in the correct tense, and that's all. Yes, and then we add past participle of the verb to take. Okay, let's put the same sentence into present perfect. Okay, put the verb to be into the present perfect, and then add past participle of the verb to take. Put the verb to be into the present perfect. The verb to be into the present perfect. Mind that the subject here is English exam, which is singular. So we cannot say how, we should say what? Has, that's right. Present perfect of the verb to be, that is has been, and then we add the past participle of the main verb, which is take, taken. Yes, English exam has been taken. Great. So again, we changed only the verb to be with you, and that is all. And then we add the same past participle. You see that past participle of the main verb remains the same in all tenses. So it never changes its form. It's always the same. Yes, you just change the verb to be. Great. The next one, future simple. What is the future simple of the verb to be? I will give you more time to give your answers, like to check yourself, yes? Will be, and then you add past participle, which is taken, English exam, will be taken by thousands of students next year, because we're talking about the future, yes? So as you may see, everything is very simple. If you have like the passive voice sentence, you always have this verb to be in the correct verb tense, and past participle and the past participle of the main verb. And it's always the same. It never changes, yes? So I see that you remember it quite well. So I suggest that we just revise the formation of passive voice for all verb tenses. Yes, we will do it fast. So I suggest that you do it orally, or you can put your answers to the chat if you can follow me so fast. Anyway, you see the active sentences in red, and your task is to put them into passive in the correct verb tense. For example, the first one is present simple. She writes the article. We just need to form it. The article is written by her. So we can say that to form the present simple in passive voice, we just need am is are plus past participle. Okay, let's go next. It will be a challenge. She is writing the article becomes what? Put the verb to be into present continuous and add past participle of the main verb. In all these examples, the main verb is the same, to write. So in all examples, you will definitely have written. Yes, the task for you is just to put the verb to be in the correct verb tenses. I see the correct answer. You just make it shorter, yes? The article is being written by her. So we form the present continuous by am is are being plus past participle. Great. Present perfect simple, we discussed with you, but anyway, she has written the article. The article has been written by her. Okay, so we need to have has been plus past participle. Great job. Okay. You can make it orally. Just say it to yourself and then check with the screen. Let's go next. She wrote the article, past simple. The article was written by her. Great, so we need was or were plus past participle of the main verb. Great, past continuous. We didn't discuss it, but anyway, she was writing the article. So the article, put the verb to be into the past continuous. And then add written. The article was being written by her. Great job. So we need was or were plus being plus past participle, the same. Okay, past perfect. What about past perfect simple? So the article had, she had written the article. The article had been written by her. Like almost the same as present perfect, yes? Nothing difficult here. Great. Let's go to more difficult examples. Future simple. She will write the article becomes what? She will write the article. The verb to be into future simple and past participle. The article will be written by her. Looks like math, yes? Okay, so we need will be plus past participle in future simple. Great, future perfect simple. She will have written the article. So let's try to put the verb to be into future perfect simple. Will have, then the third form of the verb to be been, because that is perfect, yes? The article will have been written by her, yes? So again, you just put the verb to be in the future perfect simple as any other verb. Like think about the verb to be as any other verb. Put it into the future perfect simple and add past participle. I see has. No. Future perfect, it's also have, like it always have the same structure. Will have plus past participle of the verb, yes? So it never has here. So will is always followed by have. It's always followed by have in future perfect. Never has after will, only have. Okay, then the structure be going to. She is going to write the article. How how can we put the verb to be into this structure? Is going to be. That's right. The article is going to be written by her. So we just put the verb to be into the structure, which is going to be. Yes, nothing changes. Is going to be and then plus past participle written by her. Great. Okay, and three more. Future continuous, present perfect continuous, and past perfect continuous. Okay, what about these passive sentences? So future continuous, inactive, we have she will be writing the article. What do you think about the passive here? Present perfect continuous, she has been writing the article. And past perfect continuous, she had been writing the article. Okay, any guesses? What is the correct answer here? Okay, I will actually tell you that there is no passive structures in these verb tenses. So they just don't exist. Okay, sometimes maybe on the internet you will see future continuous like passive, but it's almost never used. Because if we talk about future continuous, present perfect continuous, and past perfect continuous, the focus is what? On the duration, yes? How long the person on the thing is doing something. We are not interested in the result, so we are mainly not interested in the object, yes? So, and if we put it into the passive, like following this rule, verb to be plus past participle, it will sound awkward, it will be very difficult, it will be very controversial. That's why like in English we don't use passive structures in these three verb tenses, so you will never face them, so you will not have so difficult structures. Okay, if you need to say something in these tenses, you will usually use it in active voice, not in passive. Okay, let's go to the next level. The last level, of course, the most difficult here is modals. Yes, modals, gerund, and infinitive. And that is something might be difficult because with the verb tenses, it's completely the same. But let's try to follow the same logic. Yes, the verb to be plus past participle. And let's try to change the sentences into passive. So let's go about modals. For example, she might write the article. So how can we put the verb to be with a modal? So we know that modals are followed by bare infinitive. So what is a bare infinitive of the verb to be? That is just be, yes, without to. That's right, and then past participle. The article might be written by her. Yes. Okay. Semi-modals. That is have to, need, dear. Yes. So we have a few of them in English. So how can we put it? Semi-modal. She has to write the article. So just put the verb to be. Have to, and then what we have? Be. Have to be, and then past participle. The article has to be written by her. Yes, so we put semi-modal plus be plus past participle. Great, modal perfect. Remember, we have some modal perfect, yes, some modals. For example, she must have written the article. We use them mostly for deduction, yes, when we say how sure we are about something, yes. So, but actually we can use the structures in passive. For example, she must have written the article becomes what? Must have, yes, we also have in all examples. So it should be perfect. It should be modal plus perfect. Must plus have done or have been, yes? The article must have been written by her. So we have modal, must, then we have perfect, have been, and then we have past participle of the main verb, written. Yeah, so the article must have been written by her. For example, we are thinking, we are looking at the article and we try to think, yes, and we are almost sure that this article like is written by her. So we say the article must have been written by her. So we think that she did it. Great. Gerund. Let's look at gerund. We have only 3 more structures, so please be brave. So we have celebrities enjoy people interviewing them. Where is gerund in this sentence? Let's start from the easiest. Where is gerund? Celebrities enjoy people interviewing them. Where is gerund in this sentence? Interviewing. Okay, the next question. Is it active or passive in this example? Interviewing. Is it active or passive? Interviewing. Active or passive? Active. Why is it active? Who is the subject of this gerund? Who is the subject? Is this subject a doer of the action? People. Yes, so people interview them, celebrities. Yes, so people is an active subject. That's why this gerund is active. Agree? Yes? So let's try to find the subject, the object, that is them, celebrities. Yes? So we know the object, who, like the receiver of the action. So let's try to make this gerund passive. So what we need to do, we need to put the verb to be into gerund. So what would be the gerund of the verb to be? How can we form the gerund of the verb to be? Being. Now we know that gerund is just ing ending, yes? So be becomes being, and then we need to add the past participle of the main verb. What is the main verb? The main verb is interview. So the past participle of interview is interviewed. So what we have together? Give me the full structure. Being interviewed. That's right. So let's try to formulate the sentence. So being interviewed, that is passive gerund. Yes? Celebrities enjoy being interviewed by people. Yes, we can continue the sentence. Great. So is it clear with passive gerund? If you have any questions, let's look at them now. Celebrities enjoy being interviewed. That is passive gerund. So you just put the verb to be into gerund. That becomes being, and add past participle of the main verb. Interview becomes interviewed. Okay, let's go next. Full infinitive. So what is the full infinitive of the verb to be? We need to put the verb to be into this grammar structure. So what is the full infinitive of the verb to be? That is to be. Yes, surely that is to be. So let's read the sentence and find out the main verb. Yes, I'd like them to consider me for this part. So we see that we have the full infinitive here, which is to consider, and it is active. Why? Because we have them, they consider me. So they do the action. They consider me. So that is active full infinitive. Let's try to make it passive. So we need to put the verb to be into full infinitive. That is to be, and add past participle of the main verb, which is consider. Yes? To be considered. Yes? I'd like to be considered for this part by them, for example. You can continue this sentence. Great. So, to be considered. That's right. That's right. Completely correct. Okay, that is full infinitive. And surely we have be infinitive. Remember that in some structures we need to use be infinitive. For example, they had better show the film tonight. So where is the be infinitive here? They had better show the film tonight. Where is the be infinitive here? Show, that's right. So we need to put the verb to be into be infinitive. What is be infinitive of the verb to be? That is just be. That's right, you're completely correct. And add the past participle of the main verb, which is show. So then we will have what? Be And past participle be shown. Yes, be showed or be shown. Okay, that's right. So let's try to make up a sentence. The film, be infinitive, yes? Be shown or be showed. The film had better, be infinitive, had better be shown tonight, yes? Okay, one moment. Let me come back here. So the film had better be shown tonight, yes, by them, for example. Okay, any questions here? If not, then we will go to practice finally. Any questions? No? Okay, no questions. Then let's go to practice. So let's start with the task that you usually have in your exam. That is when you have to choose the correct option. So you have a gap and you have 4 options and your task is to choose the correct one. So let's go to number 1. So please put me your answers to the chat, 1 plus letter, yes? So let's go to number 1. These photos, gap at my house. We haven't got a fountain in our garden. So what can be there? Can't be taken, can't have taken, can't have been taken, or can't be taken. Remember that in a passive structure, we always have the verb to be plus past participle. Okay, are we talking about past or about present? So we have already the picture, yes, of the garden. So the picture, like we have already taken this picture. So we're talking about some perfect, yes? Okay, that is surely C. So look, we have can't modal, then we have perfect, yes? That is have plus third form of the verb to be, yes? So we need to put the verb to be into this structure, into perfect structure, that is have been. And then we need to add the past participle of the main verb, that is taken. I hope I answered your question. So that's can't have been taken. Okay, let's go to number 2. The winner of the talent contest gap shortly. Okay, number 2. Talking about present, yes, we are not talking about some perfect. Yes, we're talking about present. So we don't need modal perfect, we just need present, yes? Should be revealed, that is D. Actually, structure A is active, it's not passive because we don't have the verb to be here and we don't have past participle, so it's surely active. Variant B is also not passive, it's not correct. Variant C, like shows us the past, yes? Something has already been done, but here, no, we are not talking about some perfect actions, yes? Some perfect tenses. We just need, sorry, what is reveal? Reveal to show, to show, to make it maybe obvious, to make it like to show. Okay, let's go to number 3. Why gap without my permission? I'm not sure Mrs. Johnson's. So we have a question here. Yes, so what about the questions? So, and surely we need the past, yes, here. So something, sorry, was done in the past, yes? And that is the question. I will wait more. Okay, that's right. That is B, yes? That is past simple, yes? Why was this soundtrack recorded? Great. Okay, any questions here? If you have questions about any task, like, I mean, any sentences, give me a question to the chat. Let's go to number 4. Why gap to make my own choices? Am I never let? Okay, let me read you all the answers. I'm never being allowed. Am I never allowed? Am I not Latin? So again, we have a question here. So we should start. Am I never allowed? That's right. Only C is possible because we have to make. We remember that to let is followed by bare infinitive, and allowed is followed by full infinitive. Allowed to do something, let do something. So like only C is possible here. Okay, number 5. Do you think I'll get the part even though I was so late for the audition? The producer doesn't like gap, so I doubt it. And that is what? We have full infinitive here, yes? We know that like might be followed by full infinitive or gerund. Like to do something or like doing something. So it should be full infinitive here, yes? We don't have any gerund here in our options. Number 4, that is C. Look, number A is not possible and number D is also not possible because let should be followed by be infinitive. So not to make, but make. So these options are not possible, yes? And then we have I'm never being allowed and am I never allowed? But here we have a question, yes? So B is an affirmative sentence. It's not a question, yes? So only C is possible. Like if you talk about number 4. Okay, number 5. C, D, A. So that is full infinitive, yes? Passive. So we have to be plus past participle of the main verb. So what variant is that? So to be plus past participle. And that is only C, yes? No other options are possible. To be kept waiting. The producer doesn't like to be kept waiting. And actually this structure is very like used in English very often. Okay, let's go to number 6. The editors of these books gap on a job well done. The editors. That's easy. That is B. Should be congratulated. Great job, guys. Yes, every answer is correct. Great. Number 7. Each contestant on this reality show gets the opportunity to sing a duet with a famous artist. That is just present simple. Each contestant, then the verb to be in the present simple. That is and then past participle. Is given, yes? Is given. Great. That is A. And the last one, also with modals. It was a terrifying episode and I believe it gap on daytime TV. So remember that the verb to broadcast is an irregular verb and all like these forms is are the same, like to broadcast in the past, and past participles is also broadcast. So broadcast. It's an irregular verb. So which variant is correct? So it was. So are we talking about present or past? We're talking about past. So we need modal perfect. Let me check the answers. One moment. D. That's right. Shouldn't have been broadcast. Great, because we're talking about past. It was a terrifying episode. Great, let's go more. So this is easier. It's just to conclude. So you have, again, the gap, and your task is to choose the correct option. Let's try to do it faster, just to check yourself. At the moment, a sequel to the best-selling novel, at the moment, that is present continuous in passive, is being written. Great. Number 2, Martha gap given an allowance by her parents every week. Is given present simple. Easy peasy, yes? Okay, number 3. Last night, the newscaster gap presented an award for her contribution to the TV channel. Last night. Last night, that is past. The past of the verb to be, that is was presented. Great. Number 4. In my opinion, the audience gap to vote. It should just be the judges. The audience. That's right. Shouldn't be asked. Yes. Okay. We have past participle asked. Asking is not past participle, so it's not the correct form. Great. Number 5. While the writer was signing autographs, a documentary of her life gap broadcast. Past continuous. Yes, remember 2 simultaneous actions in the past. Past continuous. Was being broadcast. Great. Number 6. This program gap in Iceland. Again, A, because B is not passive. Yes. Great. Number 7. Matthew gap to be one of the greatest scriptwriter in the country. Again, that is A is considered. Actually, that is like a set construction. Somebody is considered to be something. Yes, it's always the same. And the last one, a permit gap if you want to enter the television studio. The permit is required. Great. So any questions so far? No? If you have any questions, I'll be ready to help you. No questions. Okay, then let's go next. So let's look at these 2 pictures and let's try to fill in the gaps with either with or by. So these 2 prepositions are used in passive, yes, a lot. So, but there is a big difference between them. So number 1, the film was directed, gap, Martin Scorsese, and 2, the picture was taken, gap, a digital camera. That's right. Your answers are correct. Number 1, that is by, and number 2, that is with. Yes, so guys, remember, when you want to say who or what does the action, you use by plus agent, by somebody or by something, like when it is the subject, when it is the doer of this action, yes? But when you talk about an instrument or a tool used to do the action, you use with. So let's look at the examples very fast, yes? And let's try to fill in the gaps with either with or by. So let's go to number 1. Actually, remember that in your use of English section, very often you are asked to fill in the gap with a preposition, yes? So please don't forget to revise prepositions. The first one, that is by. The mansion was destroyed by the storm in 2007. So the storm destroyed the mansion. So the storm is the doer. That's why we need by. Great. Number 2, the palm tree will be cut down, gap, a chainsaw. Will the chainsaw cut down the tree? No, surely not. The chainsaw cannot do that. That is just an instrument, with. Great. Number 3, a very heavy suitcase is being carried, gap, the porter. Number 3, that is by, because the porter is carrying a suitcase. So the porter is the doer of the action. Great. Number 4, the crack in the wall had been filled, gap, plaster. Did the plaster do it? No. So it was just not the instrument, the material, yes? So with plaster. Great. He'd prefer to be taught by a foreigner because a foreigner is the doer of the action. The foreigner will teach him. And number 6, the last one, she was hit on the head, gap, a heavy object. Such a pessimistic sentence, but anyway. Did the object hit her? No, that was just a tool. Somebody did it with a heavy object. Great. So I guess no questions here. So let's go next. Just remember about these prepositions. So any questions about passive voice? If you have any questions, put your questions to the chat. If not, then let's move forward to the vocabulary, to the adverbs. So let's look at these 2 sentences and let's try to correct the mistakes, yes? So number 1, Mr. Nolan bought an extreme expensive car. And number 2, it's been raining heavy all day. Let's correct the mistakes. So what part of speech is extreme and heavy? What part of speech is that? That is adjectives, yes? But in fact, we need adverbs. So let's try to change these two adjectives into adverbs. So I see the first one, extremely. Extremely with E, extremely. Let me show you. Yes, don't skip this E. Can you see it? One moment. Yes, and let's go to number 2. Heavily, yes? So heavy is an adjective and heavily, that is an adverb. So guys, as you may see from these two sentences, we use adverbs in order to describe verbs or adjectives or other adverbs. For example, in sentence 1, what does an adverb, what does this adverb describe? Extremely, what does it describe? Does it describe an adjective, a verb, or another adverb? What does it describe in sentence? No, it does not describe the car, no. Adverbs cannot describe nouns. It does not describe the verb. How expensive? So it describes the adjectives, yes? So it gives more details to the adjectives. How expensive? Extremely expensive. And in sentence 2, what part of speech or what word in this sentence does the adverb heavily describe? What does it describe in sentence 2? An adjective, a verb, or another verb? The verb, what verb? It describes the verb, what verb? To rain, yes? Rain, raining in this sentence. Great. So remember that we use adverbs to describe adjectives, as in sentence 1, verbs, and in sentence 2, and other adverbs. So we cannot use adverbs to describe nouns. So we can never put adverb plus noun. No, it's not correct. Yes, we need to describe adjectives, verbs, or other adverbs. So let's look at these examples. Yes, actually, like adverbs are formed from adjectives, and I hope you know it by adding the ending ly. But the trickiest thing here is that you need to find out what exactly you need, an adverb or an adjective. Yeah, so let's look at these sentences and let's try to find out what we need in these examples, adjectives or adverbs. For example, let's go to number 1. That old sculpture is absolute or absolutely magnificent. Absolutely. Great, guys. So what part of speech does it describe here? Does it describe a noun? Is there a noun? No. It describes what? It describes adjectives. Adjective, yes, magnificent. Great, let's go to number 2. I always feel happy or happily when she's around. Happy, okay, is happy an adverb or an adjective? You are correct, but is happy an adjective or an adverb? Adjective, that's right. But we know that we use adverbs to describe verbs, like feel. Happy is an adjective, but there are some verbs that are followed by adjectives, and you need to remember them. These are appear, be, become, get, feel, look, seem, smell, sound, stay, and taste. Yes, they are mostly connected with our senses, yes? So, and after them, we use adjectives, not adverbs. So these verbs might be followed by adjectives, not adverbs. So I always feel happy, not happily. Okay, let's go to number 3. She plays the piano reasonable or reasonably well for her age. 2, reasonably. Okay, what part of speech does this adverb describe? What part of speech does this adverb describe? Adverb, yes, so we have well, that is adverb. So this adverb reasonably describes another adverb well. Great. Let's go to number 4. This black tea tastes really well or good. We know that taste should be followed by an adjective. You see the list of these verbs, yes? And we see taste is there. That is really, really good or well? Really good, yes, because taste is followed by an adjective. Tastes really good. Let's go next, number 5. Nobody in the class speaks Spanish as fluently or fluent as Frank does. Do you think fluent or fluently? Fluently, yes. What part of speech does this adverb describe? What word does this adverb describe? So we use fluently to describe which word? Verb, that's right, which verb? To speak, yes, speaks fluently. Great. Okay, let's go to number 6. He gave her a suspiciously or suspicious look. Surely suspicious. Why? Because we have look. Look is a noun, and we know that we cannot use adverbs to describe nouns, yes, only adjectives. Suspicious look. Great. Number 7. Don't ask Rachel to help. She is complete or completely useless. Completely, yes, because we have useless adjective. So this adverb describes adjective. Great. And the last one. I find this book very interesting or interestingly. That's right. I find this book, and that is one more exception here, yes? To find something plus adjective. We use it like this structure very often and we don't even notice, yes? But to find something plus adjective. I find something boring, I find something interesting, I find something anything, yes? Exciting or whatever. So remember that this structure must be used with an adjective. Great. Okay, let's go next. So actually, some adverbs have the same form as adjectives. Yes, you can see them on the screen. For example, this is a fast car. Fast is an adjective that describes a noun, car. And George drives fast is an adverb. Because what? Because this adverb describes the verb to drive. Yes, so remember that some adverbs might be the same as adjectives, and that is okay. You can know only by the function they perform in the sentence. You can know whether they are adjectives or adverbs, yes? But they are written in the same way. So let's look at these sentences. Let's look at sentence A and B, and let's find out which sentence is correct. Yes, and that is also a common word that we use in English, friendly. He is a friendly person and he talked to me friendly. So which sentence is correct? Okay, is friendly an adjective or an adverb? Do all adjectives never have the end in ly? Or do we have any adjectives that end in ly? Is friendly? Friendly is an adjective. So can we say he talked to me friendly? If friendly is an adjective, we cannot say so, yes? So we cannot say so. What do we use instead? Okay. Friendly is an adjective, yes? So if you have ly ending, it doesn't mean that it is an adverb, like in all cases. No, there are some adjectives that end in ly, yes? In a friendly way, that's right. So the following words end in ly, but they are adjectives. So please try to remember them. Friendly, likely, lively, lonely, lovely, silly, and ugly. You see that they end in ly, yes, and it might like bring you to the thought that they are adverbs, but not, they are adjectives. And in order to form like an adverb from them, you need to add the verb way or manner. For example, he talked to me in a friendly way. He talked to me in a friendly manner. Yes, not just friendly, because friendly is an adjective. Okay, and 2 more sentences. Don't talk so loud, don't talk loudly. What about these 2 sentences? Maybe they are both correct. Actually, they are both correct because for loud, cheap, quickly, and one moment. For loud, cheap, quickly, and slow, we can omit this ly, and in a colloquial speech, we can use them without this ending, yes, ly. So we can only say loud, cheap, quick, and slow. Okay. Just be careful, maybe if you need to use them in your writing, yes, be careful with the form. It's better to use ly. You will never be mistaken, yes, if you use ly. Okay, let's go next. Let's look at these 2 pictures. Are you tired? No? Are you ready to continue? We have some other adverbs. So let's look at sentence 1 and sentence 2, and let's look at the highlighted words. Actually, that's what you can see in Use of English part when they give you 2 options, yes, or 3 options, and your task is to choose the correct one. So the kite rose high or highly in the sky, and he is high or highly respectable. What part of speech are these 2 words? Are they both adverbs? High and highly, they are both adverbs, yes? But what is the difference between them? The difference is that high means at a high level, yes, and highly means very. So they are both adverbs, they are both correct, but they have different meanings, yes? There are actually not so many adverbs like that, but I prepared only 10 for you, yes? That are most common in English, yes? So for example, we have short and shortly, we have hot and hardly, we have free and freely, we have late and lately. So these are all adverbs. So these are all adverbs, but the difference is that the meaning, yes? So let's try to match these adverbs with their meanings, yes, and find out the difference. For example, shortly. What does it mean, shortly? So find the correct letter. Shortly, an adverb. That is F. That's right. Shortly means soon. I will come, I will do it shortly. Yes, I will do it very soon. Okay, what about hard? Also, it's an adverb. What does it mean? I study hard. G, that's right, that's easy, hard. That is G, with great effort, with difficulty, yes? Okay, free. You can go there for free. What does it mean? Free. That is I, without payment. So the entrance is free, for example. If you want to say the same with an adjective, yes? Free means like without payment as an adjective, as an adverb, it means the same, without payment. Number 4, short. So we know that shortly means very soon, but what about short? It's also an adverb. It also can be used as an adjective, but it also might be an adverb. Short. It has completely different meaning, like comparing to shortly. It's completely different. What might it be? For example, he stopped shortly when he saw the accident. He stopped short when he saw an accident. To stop short means suddenly. Yes? Suddenly, that's right. I see the correct answer, suddenly. Okay, so shortly, soon, short, suddenly. Let's go next, hardly. So we know that hard means with effort. What about hardly? Yes, that's right, that is A. Hardly, almost no, none, or never, only just, hardly ever, like almost never, yes? Okay, number 6, highly. We know that it means very, yes, that is A, so very much, at a high standard, at a high level, like a highly respectable person, yes, a very respectable person. Okay, what about high? We talked about the kite, rose, high. Yes, at a high or to a big or to a high place or level. That's about the height, yes, about the level, about the place. Lately, we have lately and we have late. And they have completely different meanings. So lately means that is, let me give you more chances to answer. Lately means, that's right, that means recently. So recently and lately are synonyms. So the same, yes? I've done it like lately, I've done it recently. And what about late? When you're late to school, it means that you come after the expected time. Yes, like to be late. And freely, we have the last one. That is D, willingly. So it means that you are willing to do something. Yes, that is your will to do something. Nobody makes you do that. Yes, it's just your will. Okay, guys, so let's try to put these adverbs into sentences. So the same 10 adverbs, let's try to put them into sentences. So let's go to number 1. The children ever play computer games late at night. So what can we put there? You know the meaning of all these adverbs. You know what they mean. So what can be there? Hardly. That's right. Hardly ever means almost never. Hardly ever, it's like a set expression. I hardly ever watch TV or whatever. And it's a big plus if you use it in your writing. Yes, I hardly ever. Great. Let's go to number 2. Jennifer stopped when she saw Mark walking in the street. I gave you, by the way, like similar example. Jennifer stopped short. Yes, means suddenly she stopped. Yes, the same. Okay, the plane was flying. If we talk about the sky, so what adverb do we need here? High or highly? Surely high. So if you have 2 options in your exam, choose high if you talk about the level. Yes, high, not highly. Great. Number 4. Sorry, Mrs. Smith freely admitted that she destroyed her note. So nobody made her do that, as there was no pressure. That was just her will. So she freely admitted. Not free, but freely. Number 5. I have been watching too much television. So we have, you are very fast with your answers. Lately, that's right. That is the same as recently, yes? Not so long time ago. Great. So lately we cross it. Let's go next to number 6. My mother will be back. Will be back late, maybe. Late is also possible. Yeah, late is possible, but I meant here shortly. Okay, but late is also possible. Thank you. By the way, I will know one more like variant here. Let's cross shortly. Let's go to number 7. George is tired because he has been working all week long. I work, I study, I do whatever hard. Yes, hard, not hardly, but hard. Great. Number 8. It's unlikely that the patient would be released from the hospital. What about this example? It's almost like highly or hardly. Hard, that was for the previous. Highly or hardly. We have already used hardly, yes? So that is highly unlikely. Actually, that is also a set expression, highly unlikely. It's highly unlikely that something will happen, yes? Highly unlikely. And number 9, children under 12 will be admitted. Usually you can see it like on some like advertisement or some signs, will be admitted free. Yes, so it means without any payment. And number 10, I arrived late. Yes, we have only late that is left. Late for a meeting on Thursday night. Great. So try to remember the meaning of these adverbs, yes, and if you have options in your use of English part, so please don't confuse them. Remember that they are all adverbs, even if they don't have ly. Yes, and remember that there are some adjectives that have ly, yes, they end in ly. So please try to remember them. Okay, any questions here? With adverbs, passive, if not, then let's talk a bit about writing part and let's move forward. No questions, great guys. So let's talk about writing. Okay, do you think that is the most complicated part of your exam or not? Okay, who can say no? No, no, great. Actually, that is not the most difficult part because you never know what you will have in your use of English part, yes? Because there is so much grammar, there is so much vocabulary, yes? So you never know. But like for writing, you can at least be prepared because you can know exactly what types of writing they may ask you to complete, yes, and so on. So let me remind you that actually you will need 30-35 minutes to do your writing, but remember that you will have more, yes? Actually, if you do your reading and use of English faster, you can have more time here. It's up to you. But anyway, like 30-35 minutes, that is enough for the writing part. So what can you have? You can have an informal letter. By the way, it was in your mock, the NOR exam, yes, that occurred a month ago, I guess. Yes, so that was an informal letter. It might also be a semi-formal letter and a formal letter. But the point is here that the criteria are the same, like they are completely the same for all types of writing, yes? I actually don't know. Okay, so what are these 7 criteria? Remember that for each criterion, you can get 2 points. Yes, so first 3, like they are the easiest. Your task is just to provide like the answers to the subtopics that you have in the task. So in other words, you just need to answer the questions they give you in the task. And if you answer all those questions with at least 2-3 sentences, like for each, you will get 6 points already. So include all 3 subtopics given in the task and write 2-3 sentences for each subtopic, like at least 2 full complex sentences, not short sentences. This should be long sentences, complex sentences, yes? And it's a good way to organize them into paragraphs, 2 or 3 paragraphs, depending on the task, yes? So you can provide, you can devote 1 paragraph to 1 subtopic, but it's up to you. You can combine 2 subtopics together in 1 paragraph. Then you should also remember about the logic and cohesion, yes? So remember that your writing should be structured. So you should follow some structure. First of all, you should start with the greeting. You should then provide some opening remarks. Then of course you should have the main body where you answer these 3 questions. Then don't forget about the closing remarks. That is a kind of conclusion, yes? Ending, up to your task, and name. Not your surname, of course, you are not allowed. You mustn't provide your surname, but it may be any name that you like, or it's like, it might be Anna, Maria, Sophia, whatever, but it's a good, it's a good idea to put some name at the end. Surely you should proofread your writing for vocabulary and grammar mistakes. Remember that you will have a chance to write a draft, чернетку, and then proofread it and rewrite it to a fair copy, чистовик, yes? So don't forget to proofread as much as you can, yes? Remember that even if you make up to 3 vocabulary mistakes, you can even get 2 points for that. That is actually a good requirement. And you can also make up to 8 minor grammar mistakes and anyway get 2 points for grammar. So some mistakes are allowed, let me say so, yes? So don't worry, if you skip something, you are allowed to do that. Anyway, you will get 2 points for each criterion. And also we have number 5, which is appropriate register, yes? And that's something I want to talk with you about. That is about the formality, let's say, yes, about your letter. Is it informal, semi-formal, or formal letter? So they will assess whether your letter corresponds the needed, the required register. For example, if they ask you to write an informal letter, so they will check, yes, whether it is informal or not. So let's do this like short task, yes. You have like some parts of some letters, let me say so, and on the left, yes, you have the beginnings, and on the right, you have the endings of these letters. So let's try to match them first. So number 1, dear Karen, hi, how are you? I'm writing because ta 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 ta. So you need to find the ending of this letter. So that is the beginning. Try to find the ending. And the same for number 2 and 3. Somebody is very fast. One C, okay. Does everybody agree that one is C? Surely one is C. Okay, number 2. B or A? Let me wait more. Some more minutes. And we have B, A, B, A. So let's wait for more answers. B. So you think that is B? No, it's A. Okay, that is A. Okay, and the last one, that is B. Okay, guys, then I have the next question. If we talk about number 1, what register is that? Is it informal, formal, or semi-formal? What do you think? Number 1. Informal. Does everybody agree? That is the most obvious. No doubts here. That is informal. Great. What about number 2? Number 2, formal or semi-formal? Semi-formal. And the last one, that is formal. Okay, so how do you know that? How do you know that number 1 is informal, number 2 is semi-formal, number 3 is formal? So how do you know it? I will tell you now, of course, I will talk about that. How do you know? Words, like the vocabulary and the structures and the tone, like the tone of your writing. Yes, tone, tone українською, like the tone of your writing. Surely you can judge from the vocabulary and the tone of your writing. Yes, the structures you use, like how you address to this person. So first of all, you need to remember that if you need to write to someone you know very well, for example, your best friend, a relative, usually they say to a pen friend, that is, of course, an informal letter. So if you see in your task, write a letter to your pen friend, to your best friend, to your, I don't know, classmate, you understand that that is informal letter, yes? And you start thinking about informal vocabulary structures and so on. Number two, that is semi-formal. That is to someone you do not know very well or to someone you want to be polite and respectful to. It might be a friend's parents or, for example, your teacher. And very often they have this editor, redactor, yes, editor of a newspaper or a radio program host or whatever. So you want just to be respectful. You don't know very well that person, or you want to be respectful, yes? And you write formal letters to someone who is in authority and you don't know them completely. Like, for example, the manager of a school, the manager of, I don't know, of a police office or whatever. That's somebody who is in authority, yes? And of course, you should be polite with them. So from the very beginning, when you see your task, when you read the first line of your task in the writing part, you need to understand what register to choose. Your sincerely informal letter. I will show you now. I will show you everything. So try to understand to whom, yes, you need to write and then choose the correct register. Of course, we know the register judging from the words and from the grammar structures that we use. Yes, so for example, if you write informal letters, you can use everyday colloquial expressions, vocabulary, and idioms. Yes, so try to learn them, at least one, at least maybe two, yes? Be prepared with that because it will be a great plus to your mark. So be ready with at least one that you understand and that you can use in your letters. Then, of course, you can use the addressee's first name. So you can say, hi, Mary. You would never say that in a semi-formal or formal letter, yes? But that is a good way to start your informal letter. Also, you can use short forms like contractions, can't, gonna, wanna, won't, or whatever, any contractions. Use phrasal verbs, yes, as much as you can, not as much as you can, but surely it's a good idea for informal letters. Simple linking words, shorter sentences, and personal tone, yes, tone. You can address to that person to a friend. When we talk about semi-formal letters, it should be less formal language than for formal letters. But anyway, you can use some short forms, but gonna, wanna are not allowed, yes? You can use some phrases in passive voice. That is a good idea, actually. And indirect questions to show this politeness. And of course, in this type of letters, you are not allowed to use the addressee's first name. So you should use the second name or the sir, or sir, madam. You are not allowed to say dear Helen or dear Max. No, it's not okay for semi-formal letters. It should be more formal than informal letter, and that's why you can't use names. If we talk about formal letters, they require some formal expressions, longer sentences, formal linking verbs, no use of short forms, no use of contractions, no idioms or impersonal tone. And what is highly recommended for formal letters, that is use of passive voice, of course, and indirect questions. Can you give me, by the way, an example of indirect question? Of an indirect question, because I'm telling you that, but anyway. So in informal letter, you can ask, how are you, guy? What do you think about this? What about formal? How can you make these questions indirect, not direct? What do I mean here? So you cannot simply just write a question in a semi or a formal letter, a semi-formal or formal letter. You should formulate it in a way of an indirect question. What is that? So for example, in informal letter, you would say, what do you think about this trip? or whatever. Could you tell me how you are feeling? Yes? That's right. That is an example of indirect question. I want to know what you think about that. Not just, what do you think about that? Yes, like a question, but indirect question. I want to know what you think about that. I want to know your opinion. So no questions. It should be indirect questions, like formulated as sentences. Okay. Okay, try to think about that, yes? Remember about that. Also, I told you about this informal and formal linking devices, yes? For example, if we talk about informal letter, you can say but, so, also, I think, in the end, like they are all informal, yes? Plus, also, for example, that is a good way to start your sentence. But if you talk about semi-formal and formal letters, try to use more formal linkers. For example, nevertheless instead of anyways. Moreover, furthermore instead of also. Never start a sentence with but better to start with however. Yes. So well becomes therefore, thus, hence. Also might be substituted with in addition, additionally, yes? Never use except, yes? You can use it in an informal letter, but never use in semi-formal or formal letters. As soon as possible, at your earliest convenience. So try to make your linkers, try to use more formal linkers. You have some examples on the screen, so feel free to use them. Okay, let's go next. I guess semi-formal letter is the most difficult one, yes? So let's try to make this letter. You have a letter, that is a good example of a letter. Yes, you have 3 paragraphs, you have some opening remarks, you have some closing remarks, you have the beginning, you have the end. So that is a good example of a letter. It's very structured. So please try to make it more formal, yes? For example, hello, oh dear Mr. and Mrs. Johnson. What do you think? What would be more formal? Surely dear. So don't use hello or hi in semi-formal or formal letters. Just use dear and that's all. Never use first name. So use madam or sir or Mrs., Mr. Johnson, the surname, not the first name. Okay, let's go next. Thank you very much or thanks for your letter. What would you choose? Of course, thank you very much. Thanks is informal. That is a good way to put it into your informal letter, but not into your formal letter. Okay, to begin with or so, I have been very busy with my studies. To begin with, surely. So in informal, we can say so well, yes, so well, a good linking devices for informal letters. For formal, use to begin with. Okay, can you imagine, what do you think about this one? Can we use it in semi-formal letters or formal letters? Can you imagine? Exclamation mark. No, we cannot, but it's a good option for your informal letters. Can you imagine that? Like, it's a good, like when you use some exclamations, yes? That shows the personal tone in your writing. Okay, next one. Next week, I have an interview with a psychologist firm and it's gonna, I hope it will be successful. Surely, I hope it will be successful is more formal. But it's gonna be successful. It's a good colloquial expression, a good contraction that you can use in informal letters. Okay, furthermore, well, of course, furthermore. So we have furthermore or moreover. So they are synonyms to the words also. Yeah, so you can use them. Try to remember them. Next one. I hope I'll have a chance to win a prize or come out on top. Win a prize or come out on top. So remember that phrasal verbs are required in informal writing. Yes? So if you have a formal letter, you should not use phrasal verbs. Yes? No, you are not supposed to. But for semi-formal letters, some like phrasal verbs are allowed. So for semi-formal, they are allowed. For formal letters, no. It's better to use like a verb, like a simple verb, not a phrasal verb. Okay, let's go next. And my English conversations are now at a high level, are awesome. Awesome. Is it a colloquial speech? Awesome. Awesome and awful. Awesome and awful. These are examples of like more informal speech, not formal, yes? Are at a high level. High level, surely. And the closing remarks, yes? You see that the last paragraph is devoted to some closing remarks, yes? Write back soon, or I look forward to hearing from you. I look forward. Of course, I look forward to, and then ing ending, yes? That is a good way for formal and semi-formal letters. Write back soon. Again, you can use it for your informal letter. And best wishes or regards. Semi-formal letter. Regards is more informal, yes? So best wishes, best regards for semi-formal letter. Best wishes is more suitable for semi-formal letters. So I will show you all of this now. Yes, you can take a screenshot. So like I chose some phrases, yes, maybe some linking words and so on and so forth that are okay for informal letters, for semi-formal letters. So you can see the difference. You can also start an informal letter with dear, it's allowed. But if we talk about semi-formal, you should do it, yes? Dear, it's better than hi or hello. Opening remarks in informal letters. How are you? Like a simple question, yes? I thought I'd write and let you know that. The reason I'm writing is, yes? But for semi-formal, it would be, I'm writing with regard to, yes? I feel that I have to express my consent or disagreement with something. Then you have main body, closing remarks, yes? For informal letters, please write me soon and tell all the news. For semi-formal, that is like, I would be grateful if you could write me a letter. If you could write me, like, I will show you the previous slide, surely. If you could write me like your like answer or whatever. Ending, lots of love, hope to hear from you soon. That is for informal letters, like to show your personal tone. For semi-formal, yours faithfully, yours truly, truly yours sincerely, best regards, best wishes. Yes, so all these are allowed. And surely don't forget to write your name. Not your name, but any name. The main point here, your surname is not allowed. Yes, don't put your surname. And for formal letters, yes, for example, opening remarks. I wanted to, yes, I'm writing to inquire whether. Yes, that is how you can formulate your indirect question. I'm writing to inquire whether I could become a part of your team, for example, yes, or if I could apply for a position, yes, in your company. I'm writing to also, yes. That is a good start for a formal letter. And then you state the reason. Remember that in opening remarks, your task is to provide the reason why you're writing to this person, yes? So for formal letters, I'd like to let you know, I'm writing to let you know, or I'm writing to inquire if you want to ask a question, yes? For closing remarks, of course, I look forward to receiving is also a good like option for formal letters, and endings might be yours sincerely or yours faithfully. Yes, not so many options. These two options are the best for formal letters. Okay, let me show you the previous slide. This one, I guess. Which one? I guess this one, yes. So this is a letter. This is a structured letter. There are enough linking devices, yes. And the register is semi-formal in this letter. Ready? Okay. I see that you are ready. So let's sum up. Yes, let's recollect what we started our webinar with. Yes or no questions, just to sum up, just for the feedback. Should by be followed by a tool or an instrument? Remember, prepositions are very important for exam. Yes, no. Can we make sentences in perfect continuous passive? Perfect continuous passive. No, no. Okay, it would sound awkward. Number 3, does past participle stay unchanged in all passive forms? Yes. So we always have this past participle. It never changes. Number 4, do we use the passive voice to change the focus of a sentence? Yes. And remember that passive voice sentences are a good option for formal writing. And are highly synonyms. They are both adverbs, but they are not synonyms. Yes, remember about these tricky adverbs that have different meanings. Yes. Okay, that is actually all for today. If you have any questions, one moment, I will stop recording.